Hi, I'm Robert Begley, day 246 of the video challenge. Unconditional surrender. Uncle Sam. Ulysses S. Grant. Yesterday we spoke about a bit of his life up to the Civil War, which is what put him on the map as a military leader who defeated the South, ending slavery. And then he escaped the assassination attempt on his life, actually, successful assassination of Lincoln. Grant was supposed to be with Lincoln in Ford's Theater, but he went home to Philadelphia instead. After that, the North and South, how do they get together? How do they, this animosity between both sides, how is that resolved? Well, there's a Southern president, Andrew Johnson, takes over now that Lincoln is assassinated, and he has all these plans to basically make the South not very different from what it was before the Civil War. That didn't go over well. So in 1868, Grant runs for president and is elected. So imagine this, 8 years earlier, 1860, before the outbreak of the Civil War, Grant is working as a clerk beneath his younger brother in some forbidden place in Illinois. Within a few years, he wins victory after victory, declares unconditional surrender to that those are his terms in battle, and then he's president. And as president, it's a bit bumpy, but he passes the 15th Amendment, which allows blacks to vote, works on reconstruction between the North and South. In fact, his motto was, "Let us have peace between the North and South." Let's see, Transcontinental Railroad. He worked to break up the Ku Klux Klan, was wanted assimilation with the American Indians, continued to fight for rights, individual rights, separation of church and state. He was very big on that. Takes his wife on a 2.5-year tour around the world. First time that was ever done, especially by a US president. He meets Queen Victoria. He meets the Pope. He meets Bismarck in Germany. Comes back to America and he's out of money. Once again, his whole life kind of relied on either military or some kind of professional service. He wasn't really good in business as such. Then he develops throat cancer, 1884, and his fears not terminal. He's not going to live very long. Mark Twain comes to him and says, "You write your memoirs, and I'll give you 70% of the profits. Your family will be taken care of." Sherman sits down, finds a place upstate New York, and there's pictures of him bundled up, and he's got throat cancer. The man is dying, and he continues writing. In fact, he makes it. He writes the last words. 3 days later, he dies. Massive funeral for him in New York City. 1.5 million people show up, the biggest funeral in the city up to that date. And of course, not too long after that, the Grant Memorial, Grant's tomb. Who's buried in Grant's tomb was always a joke when I was a kid in New York. It's him and his wife. There's actually 2 caskets inside the tomb, the memorial. But what a life. What a life. U.S. Grant, definitely worthy of a hero show episode or 2. What can we learn from him? Leadership, persistence, the face of death over and over again, trying to preserve the Union, fighting for a moral cause. These are all things that Grant did. So we salute him. We'll see you tomorrow, day 437 of the video challenge.